The film opens with two men collecting honey. Teddy explains that bees are vital for pollination, which supports most of the world's food supply. He says these small creatures work endlessly to keep their colonies alive. But now, according to Teddy, big agricultural companies are threatening them by manipulating nature for profit. He believes their greed will lead humanity toward ruin. Because of this, he and his friend Don train hard to fight back. Meanwhile, Michelle, a high-profile CEO of the pharmaceutical company Oxalith, follows a strict morning routine that includes exercise, running, and martial arts practice. Elsewhere, Teddy and Don believe the world is controlled by corporate elites, who are actually aliens. With strong determination to restore human freedom, they keep training and preparing. One day, while walking to a store, Don carefully asks if the people around them could be aliens. Teddy assures them they are safe, but warns there are certain signs to watch for. Elsewhere, Michelle arrives at her company's headquarters. Around the same time, Teddy and Don stop by a pharmacy to buy supplies like ropes and other tools, then pick up new clothes. Teddy tells Don he is an important part of the mission and calls him a true friend who always protects him. That night, Don shares his hope to one day find someone special. Teddy replies that feelings are just brain activity, a mix of neuron signals, and that those who control their minds can control everything. Meanwhile, Michelle sits in her office for an interview, saying she hopes to inspire young scientists, doctors, and engineers to help advance humanity. After finishing work, Michelle drives home. Suddenly, Teddy and Don jump out of the bushes wearing paper Jennifer Aniston masks and try to kidnap her. Michelle fights back fiercely and manages to run, but Teddy catches up and injects something into her leg, making her lose consciousness. Teddy and Don take her car and drive away. On the way, Teddy tells Don to shave off Michelle's hair, suspecting a hidden tracker. After burning her hair and phone, Teddy begins to claim that Michelle is not human. He points to her physical features, her legs, skin, and hair as proof she is an alien. They then spread cream over her body, while Teddy insists that her nervous system is different from a normal human, even though she looks ordinary on the outside. When Michelle wakes up, she looks confused and scared, not knowing where she is. Calmly, Teddy explains that they are part of a human resistance group and believes she is one of the alien imposters living on Earth. When Michelle asks why they shaved her head, Teddy says it was to stop her from communicating with her ship. Michelle warns that the authorities and FBI will soon look for her, since she is an important executive in a major company. She tries to reason with them, saying that kidnapping her will only make things worse and suggesting they work together peacefully. Teddy refuses to believe her and accuses Michelle of being a member of the Andromeda Empire, a race of aliens he claims has been enslaving and destroying Earth. He demands that she contact her leaders. Michelle denies the accusation, but Teddy shows her social media account called Andromeda Code as proof. He insists that no 45-year-old woman could have such perfect skin without something unnatural. Michelle tries to explain that her appearance comes from a healthy diet and medical care, but Teddy does not believe her. He gives her a recorder and orders her to make a statement telling all aliens to leave Earth before nightfall, blaming her kind for the death of bees and environmental damage. He then leaves the room as if carrying out an important mission. Michelle begs them not to go, but it is useless. Night falls. While Teddy and Don celebrate their success, Michelle sits in the corner, crying and exhausted. Teddy becomes more certain that she is a threat to humanity. He warns Don not to be swayed by her words or emotions. He reminds him that they only have 4 days left before the lunar eclipse, which they believe is the final chance to force the aliens to leave Earth. A flashback shows Teddy's past with his mother. She tells him that humans have poisoned their bodies and minds so they can be controlled. She says she endured that pain for his sake. Then her body slowly rises into the air, suggesting that she might not be entirely human. 3 days before the lunar eclipse, Teddy rides his bike to work when he is stopped by the local sheriff, Casey, who used to babysit him years ago. Casey tries to talk casually as if they're catching up, but Teddy clearly wants to leave. Teddy works at a company called Oxalith, where he handles warehouse duties. While there, he sees a news report on TV about Michelle's disappearance. Later at home, while checking his honey, he notices that Michelle still refuses to eat. When he approaches her, he hears her say that she really is an alien. Thinking she is mocking them, Teddy angrily tells her to speak in her alien language and order her kind to leave Earth. Calmly, Michelle explains that her body and mind work differently, but not because she is from another world. She accuses Teddy of being trapped in a web of false information online. Her words make him furious. He throws a chair and glares at her with rage. Michelle then asks what they really want, since they do not seek money, power, or pleasure. She says Teddy is suffering from a mental disorder. Enraged, Teddy slaps her, storms out of the house, and starts shouting while turning on his car. 2 days before the eclipse, Teddy shows Don a computer model of a ship he built. He claims he has found a way to identify aliens and plans to reach their ship to negotiate for humanity's survival. Don stays silent, only listening. When they return to the basement to see her, Michelle finally admits that she is not human, but a being from another world. Exhausted, she says she only wants peace. Her confession does not soften Teddy. Instead, he ties her up again. As Michelle pleads to be freed, Teddy turns on the radio to cover her screams, then uses an electric device to test her heartbeat and body response. Michelle cries out in pain until Don, unable to stand it any longer, pulls the machine's cables to stop him. The scene shifts to the past. A young Teddy stands beside his dying mother, who slowly rises into the air. A younger Michelle is there too, explaining that a product from her company accidentally caused the illness of Teddy's mother and many others. She promises that the company will fix its mistake, fund treatment, and help Teddy's family survive. One day before the eclipse, Teddy lets Michelle go upstairs to join him and Don for dinner. During dinner, Michelle asks about the resistance group Teddy mentioned. He replies flatly that he leads no one and works alone, finding the truth through his own research. Michelle calls him a stubborn idealist and says that even with all their flaws, humans are still Earth's most remarkable creation. When Teddy asks what she admires most about humans, Michelle answers that they have an incredible work ethic and never stop trying. Teddy compares them to bees that work endlessly. Michelle nods and mentions that Teddy always blamed her company's pesticides for killing the bees. She says bee populations are now recovering and that Teddy's research is outdated. According to her, extinction is a natural part of evolution. Her words anger Teddy. He accuses her of destroying the ecosystem and insists she is not human. Michelle tries to calm him, bringing up Teddy's mother. She admits that her company's opioid products harmed many people, including Teddy's mother, but says removing them would cause even more suffering. That statement pushes Teddy over the edge. He lunges at Michelle and strangles her violently. The confrontation is interrupted when Casey arrives at the door, investigating Michelle's disappearance. Don takes Michelle back to the basement and keeps her at gunpoint with a gun. Upstairs, Teddy talks with Casey, who brings up how he abused Teddy years ago and says he is trying to make amends, though awkwardly. Teddy takes him outside to show his beehives. While downstairs, Michelle pleads with Don to call the police, promising to help him since she knows he was never fully committed to Teddy's plan. Don seems to agree at first, but then quietly asks Michelle to tell Teddy he is sorry and that he loves him. Then he places the gun under his chin and pulls the trigger, covering Michelle in blood. Teddy and Casey hear the gunshot. Teddy reacts by throwing bees in Casey's face, then kills him with a shovel. He rushes downstairs and is horrified to find Don dead. With wild eyes, Teddy grabs the shotgun from Don's hands and points it at Michelle, demanding to know what she said to make Don kill himself. Michelle tries to calm him, saying she has medicine that can save Don's mother. She explains that the woman's body is going through a natural genetic reconstruction process and could recover within a few years if treated with certain chemicals. She tells Teddy to get a bottle of antifreeze from her car as part of the cure. Before leaving, Teddy makes sure Michelle cannot escape. He does so brutally, by breaking her leg. After Teddy leaves, Michelle struggles to free herself and finally succeeds using Don's keys. Meanwhile, Teddy rides his bike to the hospital. There, he injects the antifreeze he believes will heal his mother directly into her body and waits with desperate hope. At the same time, Michelle explores Teddy's house and makes a horrifying discovery: jars filled with preserved human organs and walls covered with research notes and conspiracy theories. She realizes Teddy has killed many people he believed were aliens. Back at the hospital, Teddy's hope collapses. The injection fails to save his mother, and she dies. Crushed and furious, Teddy leaves the hospital and rides home, completely broken. When Teddy returns, Michelle begins to tell her side of the truth. She reveals that her ancestors, led by the 75th Emperor, discovered Earth millions of years ago, long before humans existed. At that time, they released a deadly virus that wiped out almost all life. Feeling guilty, the Emperor decided to create new life, the beginning of humanity. Over time, humans grew and built civilizations, but eventually began altering their own genes in pursuit of power. This led to great wars and the destruction of the world through nuclear explosions. Only a few survived and started civilization again from the beginning. Michelle explains that later generations, including Teddy's bloodline, kept repeating the same mistakes: fighting, destroying nature, and killing one another. Now her people have returned to Earth to restore balance by eliminating human bloodlines they see as morally and biologically corrupt. She then reveals that Teddy's mother was part of their experiment, chosen for her fragile body but believed to have genetic potential to help save the planet. Sometime later, as the lunar eclipse begins, Michelle and Teddy drive to the headquarters of Michelle's company. Don's body lies in the back seat. When they arrive, she tells Teddy she needs only a few minutes to link the building's computer system to her mothership in space. Quickly, she types a series of codes into a device that looks like a calculator and says everything is ready. She calms Teddy, even promising they can bring Don back to life. Exhausted, Teddy straps a bomb belt around his waist, preparing for his final act. Michelle has Teddy get inside the closet in her office before activating a device that will make contact with the mothership. Teddy's vest explodes inside the closet, and his severed head flies out and knocks Michelle unconscious. When Michelle regains consciousness, she's in an ambulance. Disoriented, she escapes and returns to the office. There, she finds her calculator-like device and reactivates it. She steps into the cabinet, and her body suddenly vanishes. Now, Michelle is on board a massive, advanced spaceship. Several beings of her race, the Perillians, greet her. They explain that they lost connection with her earlier because her hair had been cut, breaking their signal. The crew reports that all human experiments on Earth have failed. Only 2 subjects survived briefly, but both scored 0%. It is then revealed that Michelle is their supreme leader, the Emperor. Calmly, she gives her final command: to open the atmosphere and tear apart Earth's ozone layer. In an instant, Earth is destroyed. Humanity dies. People in airplanes, classrooms, and on beaches fall where they stand. Only wild animals remain, roaming a silent and lifeless world. This is where the story ends.